10 first-day cruise mistakes that make the rest of your cruise harder. The way your first day on a cruise ship goes sets the tone for everything that follows. Senior cruisers who board with a clear plan tend to have a relaxed, well-organized week. Those who arrive without one often spend the first 2 days recovering from avoidable problems that started in the first few hours. Here are 10 first-day cruise mistakes that make the rest of your cruise harder and what experienced cruisers do instead. Number 1. Going through the muster drill without actually paying attention. The modern safety drill has changed significantly since 2020. Most major cruise lines have moved to a digital process where you watch a safety video on your phone or cabin TV and then check in briefly at your muster station. Because the process is now more convenient, many senior cruisers rush through it or get distracted by unpacking and miss the part that matters most: knowing exactly where their muster station is and how to get there from their cabin. Your muster station is the specific location on the ship where you must report in an emergency. Every cabin is assigned to a different station, and the assignments are based on your location on the ship. If you have any mobility limitations, the route to your muster station matters even more, because some paths involve stairs or long corridors. A passenger completes the app-based drill in her cabin while sorting her suitcase. On day 3, she realizes she has no idea where her muster station is. She asks 2 crew members before locating it at the far end of a deck she has never visited. Complete the safety process carefully, then physically walk to your muster station. Confirm the route takes no more than 5 minutes from your cabin. This is a one-time task that costs you nothing and could matter considerably more than you hope it will. And speaking of being prepared, the next mistake involves your dinner reservation and affects every evening for the rest of the sailing. Number 2. Not confirming your dining assignment when you board. Senior cruisers who book traditional assigned dining, whether early seating, late seating, or a specific table size, often assume the reservation is exactly as requested once they board. It frequently is not. Dining assignments can shift during pre-boarding, and the only way to know with certainty is to check at the main dining room on embarkation day. Problems that take 5 minutes to fix on day 1 become nearly impossible to resolve on day 3. If you requested early seating because of health or sleep preferences and discover on the first evening that you have late seating, fixing it requires waiting for the dining room manager the following morning with no guarantee of availability. A couple who requested early seating discovers at dinner on night 1 that they have been placed at a table for 2 at late seating. They spend 2 evenings waiting to speak with the dining room manager before the change is confirmed. When you board, walk to the main dining room and confirm your assignment before you do anything else. Bring your booking confirmation if you have a specific preference on record. It takes 10 minutes and prevents a week of unnecessary frustration. The next mistake is one of the most common on embarkation day and exhausts senior cruisers before the sailing has properly started. Number 3. Going to the Lido buffet during the embarkation rush. Embarkation day is the single most crowded meal experience of the entire cruise. Every passenger boards within a few hours, and the majority head directly to the Lido deck buffet. The result is the longest lines, fewest available tables, the most noise, and the most stressful dining environment you will encounter all week. Senior cruisers who struggle with crowds, standing in line, carrying trays, or finding seating often have a difficult and draining first meal on the ship. A retired couple boards at 12:30 and goes straight to the buffet. Every station has a line. Every table is taken. They circle the deck twice before finding a small table near the pool bar. By the time they sit down, both are tired, warm, and less enthusiastic than they were an hour earlier. On embarkation day, check whether the main dining room is open for lunch. It is on most major lines, and it is nearly always quieter than the buffet, with table service included. If the buffet is your only option, wait until 2 p.m. when the embarkation crowd thins out significantly. The food does not change, the experience changes completely. And once you have eaten, there is a very common mistake that affects how the rest of the first afternoon goes for many senior cruisers. Number 4. Overloading the first afternoon with too many activities. Embarkation day excitement regularly leads senior cruisers to try to do everything in the first few hours. Pool, spa tour, specialty dining booking, sail-away party, and full ship exploration, all while still needing to unpack before dinner. By 6 p.m., they are exhausted before the cruise has properly begun. The physical demands of embarkation day are higher than most passengers anticipate. Getting to the terminal, checking in, boarding, finding the cabin, and navigating an unfamiliar ship is already a full morning of activity. Senior cruisers who add a full afternoon of optional events on top of that often pay for it the next morning. A passenger who tours the spa, attends the pool party, walks the promenade deck twice, and goes to the welcome cocktail event wakes on day 2 with sore feet and low energy. She misses her first scheduled shore excursion. Reserve day 1 for the essentials. Find your cabin, unpack, confirm your dining, and do a short orientation walk. Save the optional activities for day 2 when you know the ship and are rested. Number 5. Not setting up your onboard account correctly. Most cruise lines require passengers to link a credit card to their onboard account for all purchases on the ship. This setup happens at check-in at the terminal or at guest services on the ship. Senior cruisers who skip this step or complete it incorrectly often discover the problem at the worst possible time. Common issues include a card being declined for the hold authorization, an account set to cash with an insufficient deposit, or a couple not realizing their accounts are separate. Discovering any of these on day 5 means a long guest services queue while the rest of the ship enjoys the afternoon. A passenger finds on day 4 that her account was never properly linked because she missed the step at check-in. She cannot charge anything until she queues at guest services during the busiest part of the day. On day 1, visit guest services and confirm your account is active, your card is on file, and your limit is set. 5 minutes now prevents significant frustration later. The next mistake involves something that is easy to fix on day 1 and nearly impossible to fix once the ship has sailed. Number 6. Packing first-day essentials in your checked luggage. Luggage on embarkation day does not arrive at your cabin when you board. On most ships, checked bags are delivered throughout the afternoon, and some cabins do not receive theirs until 5 p.m. or later. Senior cruisers who pack their first-night medications, required prescriptions, or dinner clothes in their main suitcase sometimes find themselves without critical items for the entire first evening. Ship medical staff regularly see passengers who cannot access medications because their bags have not arrived. Once the ship sails, there is no pharmacy to visit until the first port day, which may be 24 hours away. A passenger packs her evening blood pressure medication and her dinner outfit in her main suitcase. At 4 p.m., the bag has not arrived. The ship sails at 5 p.m. She attends dinner in her boarding clothes and misses her evening medication dose entirely. Pack every medication needed for the first 24 hours in your carry-on bag, without exception. Include your first night outfit if how you dress for dinner matters to you. Your checked luggage will arrive at some point on embarkation day, but you cannot plan around exactly when. Number 7. Not locating the medical center and guest services on day 1. Senior cruisers who need help during the sailing often need it suddenly, a medication reaction, a fall, or a billing issue that cannot wait. In those moments, knowing exactly where the medical center and guest services desk are makes a real difference to how quickly you get assistance. Ships are large and disorienting on day 1. The medical center is typically on a lower interior deck, far from cabin areas. Guest services is on the main atrium deck, but can be hard to find in an unfamiliar layout. Neither location is where you want to search for the first time when you actually need it. A passenger develops sudden dizziness on day 2. Her husband does not know where the medical center is. He asks a crew member, receives partially wrong directions, and arrives several minutes later than he should have. On embarkation afternoon, after unpacking, take 10 minutes to walk to the medical center, guest services, and your muster station. One quiet walk now means you never have to think about it again. Now here's the mistake that costs senior cruisers some of the best experiences available on the ship. Number 8. Not booking activities and specialty dining on embarkation day. Popular experiences on cruise ships fill up fast, and they fill up fastest on embarkation day. Specialty restaurant reservations, cooking classes, wine tastings, behind-the-scenes ship tours, and prime show seating are all available to book from the moment you board. Many are sold out or have very limited availability by day 2. Senior cruisers who plan to handle bookings once they are settled often discover that the experiences they most wanted are already full. Specialty restaurants in particular can be fully booked for desirable dinner times within the first few hours of sailing, especially on 7-day itineraries. A couple hopes to celebrate their anniversary at the ship's premium steakhouse. They plan to book it on day 2. By then, the only remaining time available is 5:15 p.m. on the final night of the cruise. On embarkation day, within the first 2 hours of boarding, open the cruise app or visit the specialty dining desk and book the experiences that matter most to you. Do not wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow, the best options will already be gone. Number 9. Not reading the first daily program before your first evening. The daily program issued on embarkation day, called the Compass, Patter, or Today, depending on your cruise line, contains information relevant only for that first day. It lists dining hours, welcome events, activity registration windows, and limited-time offers that close before the ship sails. Senior cruisers who skip it regularly miss things that do not repeat. Many lines offer a first-day spa discount, a dining package deal available at boarding only, or an activity sign-up window that closes at a specific hour. Once closed, the offer is gone for the rest of the sailing. A passenger who picks up the daily program on day 2 notices a 20% spa discount she missed the day before. It is no longer available. Pick up or open the daily program as soon as you board. Read it before you leave the cabin for the first time. The time-sensitive windows listed there do not repeat. And the final mistake is one that catches senior cruisers off guard every time they sail somewhere new. Number 10. Forgetting to change to ship time right when you board. Cruise ships operate on ship's time, set by the captain, which does not always match the local time of your home port or the ports you visit. On itineraries that cross time zones, ship's time may differ from both your home time and the local port time. If you do not change your watch and phone to ship's time immediately when you board, you are operating on the wrong schedule from your first hour on the ship. The consequences range from minor to serious. Missing the first dinner seating because you thought it started an hour later. Arriving at an activity after it has begun, and most critically, returning to the dock at a port stop at what you believe is 30 minutes before sailing, only to find the gangway is already raised. A passenger on a Caribbean itinerary does not adjust to ship time on day 1. On the first port day, she and her husband return to the pier at what they believe is well before sailing. The gangway has already been raised. They are only saved because a crew member spotted them on the dock. Change your watch and phone to ship's time the moment you board. Ask a crew member or check the daily program if you are unsure what ship's time is. Your phone's automatic time zone setting may not reflect ship's time. Do not assume it does without confirming. The first day of a cruise is shorter than it feels and more consequential than most realize. The decisions you make in those first few hours shape how easily the rest of the week goes. None of the mistakes on this list require special knowledge to avoid. They require a few minutes of attention before the excitement takes over. If this video helped you prepare, subscribe to Cruise Smart for honest, practical cruise advice every week. And leave a comment below with the words Cruise Smart so we know you are part of this community.